Good evening. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Concord Township Zoning Commission for Tuesday, October the 7th. Let us stand, honor the country with pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Heather, if we could have a roll call, please.
Mr. Schindler.
Present.
Mr. Terriaco.
Present.
Mr. Wortel.
Here.
And Mr. Ivelisse.
Here. Hopefully our chairman, Hiram, is enjoying a night off, or wherever he's doing well. And thank you, Ron, for coming in to sit in. And unfortunately, Mr. Peterson is taken ill and isn't joining us this evening. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes, and I'm sure each of you have read it extensively and thoroughly, particularly the minutes from June. And we have the June 3rd, we will take under consideration now, June 3rd, 2025. Please. Any comments on the minutes of June 3rd?
No comments from me, sir.
No, Mr. Chairman.
No comments from you, Mr. Chairman.
If not, can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes, meeting minutes from June 3rd, 2025.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of June 3rd, 2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. June 3rd minutes, 2025 stand approved. Minutes of September the 2nd, 2025. Same disposition. Motion?
Mr. Chairman, I so move we accept the minutes of September 2nd, 1925. 2025.
1925?
I'm sorry. 2025.
You've been on the board a long
Yeah,
time.
long time.
I second that
Mr.
motion.
Chairman, I was not
Yeah.
here for that meeting, but
Yep.
I did read through them.
Yep.
Can I vote in favor of the approval of the meeting minutes?
Yes, you
Okay.
Yes, you can.
All right.
Very good. So we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of September 2nd, 2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion was
Aye.
made. Did we motion? Did we
I made
motion?
the
He motion? Okay, I'm sorry.
I
All right.
corrected the user.
Sorry.
It's okay, John, you weren't here.
I was in September. I missed the whole month.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, aye.
Yeah, but you're here today.
I am?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. The September 2nd, 2025 minutes stand approved. Members, next order of business is the correspondence. Do we have any correspondence to report here this evening?
Not for me,
Frank?
Mr. Chairman.
I've had no correspondence.
No correspondence.
And I have none either. Zoning inspector report. Heather, you have the floor.
Be pretty brief. Just a quick review of the September zoning department activity. During the month of September, we processed 31 zoning permit applications and collected approximately $4,600 in fees. The majority of the permits were for residential projects, 3 new single-family dwellings. We also issued the permit for the new commercial plaza, Longwood Plaza, that was approved last year on Pyle Road at Hunting Lake in front of the water tower there. If you recall, Ralph Dichter Construction is going to put their offices there. They do have a couple other tenant spaces available, but they don't have tenants determined for those spaces yet. Also, during the month of September, we were busy doing inspections. We did 93 zoning permit inspections and issued 25 certificate of zoning compliances. Last month, too, at the BZA, they had one variance application for a residential house on Hermitage. The property owner requested a variance for a side yard setback on an accessory building down to 6-foot side yard rather than a 10, and that was approved. So that's it. Thank
Anything
you.
else? Any questions for the zoning inspector? Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Next order of business. Oh, public participation. Do we have anyone wish to speak to the board? Sir, please, come to the podium. Name and address, please, for the record.
My name is Vince Ria. My address is 6536 Ravenna Road. I'm here on encouragement from Ron Peterson, or Rich Peterson, from talking to him on social media. I've had an ongoing problem for 7 years in my property. Some of these, actually, the previous trustees, all the current trustees, your zoning department, and a letter was sent in May to your legal department about this issue. I have a guy who's occupying an unoccupied house. He's running a business out of there, and he uses it for social events. On the week of September, September? 4 weeks ago, he had 3 parties in a row. On that Sunday, his party started at 6 o'clock. At my doorstep, I measured with a decibel meter on my phone, 102 decibels at my doorstep. I've had the sheriff out many, many times. They can't do anything because your laws permit them to have noise until 11 o'clock at night. However, if it was in a vehicle and it was 100 feet away, the kick can't exceed 78 decibels. So therefore, I've written a draft, and I have copies for everyone here. I would like you guys to consider changing your nuisance noise ordinance law so at least the sheriff's department can enforce the days that I have to be locked in my house for 5 hours at 102 decibels at over 400 feet away because they're having parties. Now, to contrast this party that went on, there were people a quarter mile down the road that heard about it and were talking about it on social media. And then 2 weeks ago, the gun club across the street had a party with 350 people and 2 July packs, and we heard nothing. And they are just as close as the house next door to me where they held their party. So I'm at my wit's end. I've dealt with Paul Malczewski, Chris Galloway. I call every time there's an issue over there. I text Carl Dondorfer. In May, I had my lawyer draft a letter. We sent it to the legal department. Heather was copied, no response. They're still do their commercial business out of there. You smell fumes and paint. They always maintain their equipment there. And despite my trying to get action, I took it to the social media. I've also taken it to the media. And that's when I met Mr. Peterson, who said, no, bring it to here. So this is what I've done. And to help you guys out, like I said, I wrote a draft on what I think you guys can do for common sense at least. If I can't deal with the business, you guys can deal with the noise ordinance, and I can have some type of legal action for whether they keep you arrested or whatever for going on, because I shouldn't have to be locked in my house 3 days a week because they're having parties over with full sound systems and bands, and I can't even think. Now, if my dogs were outside going crazy like they were doing inside my house, I could have gotten a ticket for my dogs. So you have to think about this noise ordinance, and please, please change something, because I don't want to have to move, but that's my next option. And I've been here 11 years, and I do participate in the community. Several people here know me and know what I do for the community. So I just don't want to have to move, but I'm at my wit's end. Thank you.
Mr. Rhea, thank you, but we're most receptive to what you have for suggestion. We'll pass this out. May I ask, please, before you? So this is strictly, or you're related to noise?
That one's noise.
Not use of property?
Because you guys, the problem is with the business, and I have police report after police reports where I've had the sheriff's deputy walk down there with their body cams to actually show that they are doing business. And at one point last October, I have a police report where the deputy walked all the way down there and they had 6 commercial lawnmowers on jacks doing oil changes in their backyard, but claimed it was personal business. And obviously, zoning and Carl Dondorfer never responded to that, and no one ever pulled the police report and looked at that footage. So you guys have taken this person to court before, and he had a $500 fine, and he laughs about it, and he said, okay, another $500 fine to keep doing his business there. He does not live there. Nobody lives there. The house is unoccupied. His sister owns the house, and the house is not even in livable conditions. I know this because when it went up for sale, my brother tried to buy it, and it had no electricity or plumbing at the time.
If I may ask, I'm sorry, sir, you said it a little quickly for me. What's your address again?
6536 Ravenna Road.
6536.
I'm the one with the white farm stand, and people call it the Old Pork Place.
Oh, no, yes.
Yes, yes, everybody knows it as the Old Pork Place.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Well,
First of all, I appreciate you coming to, and I appreciate Mr. Peterson suggesting it.
I do too.
Certainly take it under advisement here, particularly, and thank you for going through the effort here
well, and I
to
can
suggest.
compare the different zoning ordinances for the vehicle versus the home, and like I said, I like it here, and I like where I live, and I like what I do there.
Yes.
But you know, I can't keep being subjected to this kind of stress.
I applaud you for your patience.
Well,
I do.
trust me, I don't have patience.
Well-
Heather knows.
Well, at least you took it, you're in front of us now,
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of people handle things a lot differently sometimes, and you didn't, and I applaud you for doing it the right way.
Yeah.
I mean that. So it was all sincerity. It's not falling on deaf ears, pun intended or not. So I think we'll
Yeah. I concur
definitely,
with John.
we'll see what we can do.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Mr. Ria. Any other member, any other public participation wish to speak to the board before we move into new business? There being none, we'll move into new business. On our agenda this evening is a couple items for new business. The first is site plan review application number 62, submitted by Primrose Schools for a proposed child daycare center to be located on Auburn Road on parcel number 08-A-020-0-00-005-0. Representatives of the applicant, please come to the podium. And as you do, before I ask you for your name, I need to advise you that we are not a full board here this evening of 5. We're a board of 4. You have the option to table for next month because under our composition here, we will need 3 of the 4 for approval. So wanted to let you advise you of an option to table or continue.
I think we're ready to continue.
Very good, very good. If you could state your name and address for the record and a presentation on your project, please.
Sure. My name is Reed Cooksey with Stonefield Engineering and Design. Address is 555 South Old Woodward, Suite 12L, Birmingham, Michigan 48009. With me, we have Jason Lang with Primrose. Can answer any operational questions. Here before you tonight for planning approval of a Primrose daycare facility off of Auburn Road. Primrose is a national branded daycare, and we seek high-end communities such as this to bring in childcare, which is a growing need in the around the country. What you have here is a 13,000 square foot facility. I know there's some discrepancies between the architectural and site plan. We'll make sure that is addressed. The building got a little bit smaller as we went through it with the landlord here. But we're going for a approximately 13,000 square foot building with access off of Auburn. We have 69 parking spaces where 67 are required. We've been working with Heather and the township staff over the last few months in order to kind of hone in a lot of the details that you see here. We have a few different play areas in the rear of the building for the different age groups, all meet state level requirements, as well as a few different turnarounds. There will be grass paver for the fire access. We've been working with the fire marshal quite intently on this one because he has some concerns that you guys have seen in the letter that we feel like we've assuaged, as well as a emergency only access onto Auburn Road, which I know is kind of the largest curveball in this whole application. Otherwise, we meet all ordinance standards on everything else here. Operationally, we'd be happy to explain how we operate, but generally hours of operation are 6 to 6. That changes slightly depending on the franchisee, but that's the general hours of operation, and Monday to Friday. So a great transitional use from the residential lots that are close as they commute to go to work and do any of the commercial activities that are along Auburn there. It's kind of we say this is a perfect Primrose site just because it is that great transitional use that our customers like to see. Be happy to answer any other questions you guys may have regarding the site layout and access. Happy to be here.
Well, thank you. Again, I'm sorry, your name?
Reed.
Reed.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Or first name?
Reed's my first name.
Reed, first
Kirsty's
name.
last name.
I
but
apologize.
You just call me Reed. We're friends.
Reed. Oh, not yet.
A lot easier that way.
Before we get to some questions here, you mentioned in your presentation franchisee.
Yes.
So Primrose is not operating the facility?
So, Jason, try to explain a little better than I can.
Yeah.
But
Sure. Jason Lang, we're also friends, so. So this and all of our locations, which is now over 530 nationwide, are all owned by local franchisees and operated by them. Generally, folks that live in the community. This particular franchisee has several schools in the greater Cleveland area, so
very
they're
good.
not. The one in Beechwood is probably the closest. We just opened that not that long ago. So, and same franchise owner, same operator.
Okay. So these franchisees are pre-qualified, I presume?
Yes.
To do what?
Yeah.
Taking care of
and
kids.
it's obviously there's state standards. There's a considerable financial obligation as well to kind of to build it. So it's not. We're doing some vetting before
Very
we
good.
get here.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
intended to have somebody in the community that knows the community and knows the area. You know, we don't want to be a operator down in Atlanta where they're headquartered and, you know, not be responsive to, you know, community needs.
Thank you for that answer. I appreciate that. I mean, wasn't aware of how that operationally would occur. I'm going to defer to the board here for questions and comments, and then to, well, before I do, perhaps I'll go to Heather. Heather's obviously has been involved with this in great detail, and actually provided to us this evening a revised staff report as well as an amended or new additional letter from the fire department. Heather, could I ask you to kind of summarize your staff report, please, for the board?
For the staff report? Oh, sure. And the applicant does have a copy of the staff report. We're
Yes.
looking at the same one, yeah. The one letter that we did receive today from our Deputy Fire Chief, Mike Bedell, I can hand you that. I just got that this afternoon. But typical in my staff report, I always start out with just some basic information about what's happening on the site, a narrative about, you know, the use, the parking lot, and it's very common, as you know, that we would have a conditional approval typically on these projects. Just talking about the site plan review right now, as you can see, there are 13 conditions that I'm recommending for the zoning commission to consider. One of them, really the first one, is kind of something I think you need to explore maybe a little bit with the applicant this evening, but there's been some mixed, I think, feelings about the how to provide the correct fire access to the site. So the one that's shown on the plan is one of the alternatives that does suit the needs of the fire department. As you can see in their letter, their last review letter dated September 22nd, you know, if the design that is approved, that is shown on the plan, is approved by the commission, that they will be looking for some additional things for the applicant to comply with regarding capacity of the grass pavers for the fire truck and making sure that those areas are plowed in the winter and delineated with markers so that those grass paved areas can be accessed if they need to, plus some other things in here. But one of the other alternatives that we were trying to encourage or see if it was a possibility was possibly getting a second way off the site to the northeast, kind of behind the building. With some initial conversations, it sounded like they may have reached out to the property owner, but we didn't get a final answer as to whether or not how that went. You know, how far did that conversation go? Was there any ability to make that possibly work?
Okay.
So.
Is that a local property, I'm sorry, is that a
Go ahead,
local
Joe.
property owner that owns the adjacent property?
No.
not.
They're, it's sold in the last couple of years. I think the
Okay.
property owner is, I think it was no. I can't remember what state. We have a decent relationship. Him and I can email about different tenants coming in, so it's accessible.
Okay.
The new property owner, so I have communicated with them in the past, but he's not local. He's out of state.
Okay.
There were some other, you know, small changes, but as some other recommendations that I had on the site plan, and then, but you guys can go through those with the
Okay.
applicant, see if those are things that
We'll do
you,
that.
that they can agree to comply with, or, you know, discuss those with the applicant and kind
Very
of see
good.
where that goes.
Good, thank you.
Heather, is this
Thank you,
the-
Heather. Ron?
The Normandy property that we're
Yes.
speaking of?
Yes, the property to the northeast is, commonly referred to as the Normandy
Normandy,
property
yeah,
if you're a
Old Town
local.
Westford, yeah, right, right.
But it's actually owned by Bedrock.
We show our
It's
age.
a,
Yeah, we do, don't we?
yeah, so, yes.
I wish it was still done. That'd make things easier.
Is that all you had for? So I'm gonna solicit Frank first for any questions, comments for the applicant here before we,
Well, actually, Heather covered the questions I was going to have,
okay,
so I got my answers.
okay. Feel free to chime in as we proceed
sure.
here as well.
Yeah,
John?
I have one question. This might be more operational and more of a confusion. I know that you meet, I think the parking meets the requirement, correct?
Yes, yes,
Right.
sir.
It does. But when I was reading it, you have 212, typically about 212 capacity for 212. What in 69 parking spaces? And I'm not challenging, so I just want to get some context to what I'm reading and understanding. Okay. And one of the things I read in here, it says that one of your protocols is that parents come in, park, and then bring their kids in. And I'm just disparity-wise, just help me wrap my head around this. If there's 69 parking spaces and the capacity for 212, what is your typical student count? If the capacity is 212, is it 212?
So.
And if it is, it's okay.
Yeah,
There's no
no,
right or
no.
wrong answer here, guys.
So generally if we have full capacity, if we have all 212, on a day-to-day basis, about 80% of those students will be there, whether it's vacation, sickness, parents take them out early, things like that.
Perfect.
And then another thing that's very different from most schooling is it's a rolling drop-off. It's not a designated bell system. And so we've done plenty of studies across all 500 sites where the maximum drop-off vehicles that we have there, around 17 or 18 vehicles at any peak time. That's that morning 8 a.m. rush. We have about 18 cars that enter the parking lot to drop kids off. And typical drop-off time in the morning is around 6-7 minutes. Their parents are hustling to get to work. They drop off, they walk the kids in and come back out. So 69 parking spaces is well over parked for what we need for something of this facility. Generally, we need 40 to 50.
So I'm going to tell you why I asked that. Because one of the things in the fire department's report was they're worried about congestion. If something happened at that drop-off time, the congestion could be cumbersome for them, right?
Yeah.
So it was a twofold question. It wasn't a trick question.
Yeah.
It was just so that I could understand reading that and feeling a little bit better for myself about the fire department's concern of that congestion in that spot at that time. Because that intersection is a pretty busy intersection between
Yeah.
that time. And I've raised kids, so I understand how drop-off could be. It's a blast. Now that makes a lot more sense, and
Yeah.
can put some mind at ease there a little bit.
Absolutely, and like I said, 69 parking spaces is well over parked. Obviously, parents are going to park near the front. We instruct all of the teachers; they'll park towards the rear, and their cars don't generally move during those peak times. Obviously, so the point of congestion that the fire marshal is really concerned about is that kind of south side. Along where it kind of dead ends. He's worried if a fire truck were to park there, get on site, park there and break down, how will another truck get in and out of the site? The cars back there really for teachers, there's not parents that are parking there to walk all the way around to the front entrance because there is only one entrance to the school for drop off. So, generally operationally that, wouldn't be a concern. There'd be plenty of additional parking and maneuverability of the drive aisles.
You had in the staff report about moving the landscaping away from the building and putting it on the other side of the wall. Was that one of your?
Yeah.
Well, we do agree on
I know.
a lot of things.
Scary.
I'm interested about that one, pulling that landscaping away from the wall. But maybe you can explain that for us a little bit more.
Oh, the 5-foot
Yeah.
planting bed?
Yeah.
The way that the zoning resolution is actually written, it's supposed to be between, the walkway is considered part of the building. It's supposed to be on the outside of the walkway between the parking lot. They originally kind of had it outside, like the fenced in area. So around,
We'd
So,
prefer
like-
it the way that how it's written in the report. That's how we initially had it. I think
Okay.
Yeah.
That was easy.
Yeah.
I think we misinterpreted when the initial
I misinterpreted
report
what I read
came out,
too.
and so we put it by the building, and that's why I think the idea is to get it outside because there's a sidewalk with a fence, and then you get the landscaping outside of there that kind of helps break up some of those elements, so you don't have a fenced-in landscaped area. So we're
Yeah.
You want plants by your building anyways, but I think that's excellent.
Yeah.
I read it the same way. So,
Same.
and the only other one I had, and I apologize if I'm being cumbersome here with my questions.
Please,
but
no.
Was the sidewalk, and it's on private property, and we're requesting the property owner to
give an easement, is that correct? So the public sidewalk?
Yeah, I think it was make it 6 feet wide and put an easement, you know, we're fine with
You're gonna
that.
dedicate an easement?
Yeah, I don't think there's any, usually in these situations, there'd be like a right-of-way dedication, doesn't seem like that's what the county wants, so we'll put a public easement in there, and that way as Auburn gets redeveloped, we can connect the sidewalk through to, you know, it's perfectly fine, we're happy to do it.
Okay.
Are we gonna put a timeline on that sidewalk?
Yeah, no, it's,
Well, it'll be installed when the building is.
John's attempt at humor, just ignore that.
So, I'm sorry, that's all I have.
Walking or?
That was it for my questions at this time.
Okay, thanks, John. Ron, please.
So talk a little bit more about the drop-off and pickup. So the parents that come in, park, take their children
Walk
in.
their kids in.
Are the start times staggered?
There's no designated start time. You can drop your kids off whenever. It's really just when the parents are, you know, eligible to drop them off. Again, our peak times are generally 7 to 9. You know, think of work time. So you'll get a few kids that get dropped off right at 7. It peaks around 8:15. And that time we have, you know, we've shown time and time again, it's about 17 cars that come in that 15-minute window to drop kids off in the peak time, but otherwise it's a kind of a bell curve of drop off, and then pick up in the evening is a much longer bell curve because some parents pick up at 4, others pick up right at the end of the day, so it's a little bit flatter at that time.
Do you anticipate, or have you had any where the cars are stacking? You know, waiting to get in to get to the parking spot?
No, we
If you
haven't.
ever have where everybody wants to drop their kids off at once?
No, we get this question a lot. No, it's again just because it's not a bell system and everyone's not rushing to get there by a certain time. People are just going there when it fits in with their work schedule, with their schedule for drop off, and then when we have over 45 spaces is kind of the minimum we look for. When we have over that, there's plenty of parking for parents to park quickly and get in. Again, think of your early morning routine. You're not going to sit there and be like, I have to get the spot right in front of the building. I'm going to go 5 spaces over that's empty and park and get my kid in there because I got to get to work. I'm late for a meeting, things like that.
Okay. So the only reason I ask is I live near another daycare, and they don't park. I get it. They come in, and their security system is they pull up, teacher comes out, takes a student, right?
That's
So that does stack up out onto the
Yeah,
main
that's
road.
not how this is. The teachers don't come and get the
Morning and
kids.
afternoon.
It's you walk your kids into their classroom and then sign them in and then leave. So you're parked in the space. There's no drop off area. There's no loop. There's nothing like that.
Okay, so with 67 parking spaces, like we'll have 24 or 25 employees, like so there's 40 spaces that will be open at any given time. So I mean that it alone, if 40 families and generally folks that come to our schools generally have more than one child there. So it's not, to your point, 200 and some people coming at once. I'd say probably 50-60% have more than one. So that, I mean, we're still looking at any given point, we probably have like 40 plus parking spaces that are available for everybody that would be coming in.
Yeah, lot of multiple kids coming to the same. They're not going to drop off 2 different places. So it's a.
How many projects do you guys have that have one entrance point?
Currently.
It's a guess. I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess about 70%. I mean, that's 2 entrance points is on those corner lots where we can get one off each road. But with current access standards and road frontage, getting 2 entrances off the same road just generally doesn't meet any sort of county or DOT separation standards. So very rarely can we get that unless we get a corner lot that allows for it with separation from an intersection. So. This is more of the norm. I know there are a few out there that have 2, but those are, again, more unique than not. So about 70% would have a singular entrance with a emergency turnaround at the end of it.
Ron, please.
So to talk about the emergency access drive.
Yep. So again, this was brought up after quite a few conversations with the fire marshal. With the capacity there, having 2 points of egress was something he was adamant about. Other locations, we are fully sprinklered, have alarm systems, which some fire marshals allow in lieu of a second entrance. he was very concerned with it, so we've been working with him about that second entrance. Again, the location that I think most people would prefer is getting an easement from the property to the north. We actually did reach out, as we indicated, and had some preliminary conversations. Really tough to get them to continue to respond, and kind of the last correspondence we had was, you guys need to move on without us here. We don't really see a way to move forward. They didn't want the traffic. They didn't want, the easement there. So that's kind of where we've left it, and haven't really heard from them since.
What would be the,
There's no traffic.
that's what I was gonna ask.
Well,
what
our
would be-
traffic going through their site,
This would be emergency only.
I know, but there was some concerns about what that meant, and
Gated, just like your show.
yeah, he just wasn't very interested in it, and just told us, hey, you guys need to move on without us. So in lieu of that, to get the second egress, he said, I need a 13-foot wide emergency only access somewhere else. We went with a grass paver option because, again, we don't want it to look like an entrance. We'll put the signage up that the county requires, that the fire marshal requires. We'll gate it. We'll do whatever they need. This is the minimum that they need, but we didn't want it to look like an entrance where somebody could be confused. Again, it's grass paver. It won't look like anything other than just a pretty flat area that comes off of Auburn there with signage and a gate. And so, we felt that this was a great middle ground to provide him the access he needs, while also not having anything confusing out there for, regular vehicles that may think that that's
Right.
a driveway of some sorts to pull into. So that meets all standards. I know there's a couple comments about making sure it's load rated. We have details that we've used in the past for these grass pavers that show they can support 50,000 pound vehicles, which is what they need to be rated for. We'll make sure that we have truck turning shown that the trucks can enter and exit. And again, and the fire marshal knows this, that's obviously not his first point of egress either. For him, it was a secondary point for maybe a second truck, or if something was blocking the first one, and that's kind of where the middle ground was. But we'd be happy to, make sure that, again, this meets all county standards, meets the fire standards. We want to work with everybody on this, and we're trying to, find the best solution to get everybody happy.
What the second access does for you is your main entrance, fire department will use every day, coming in and out, whatever they need to do. If something were to happen bigger, right, you have to look at it as all hazards, just not a fire.
Yep.
And then that's when that second access will be used, because it allows apparatus to get in, it allows another way out. So if something tragic happens where you need to transport several people, right, it's easier to use that. The ambulances come in, and then they go back
Yeah.
out as they pick up people. And that comes from experience. I've been at daycares where we have had to transport several people, children, with only one way in. And actually, it was on Auburn Road, just another side of Auburn Road. And it was very difficult to do that, right? You're trying to manage parents coming in, children going out, and it was just very
Yeah.
tough to do. So that's why the fire department,
Yeah, no, and
looks
we're
at
all
that.
for it. We're
It
not trying to push back on it.
Yeah.
We just, again,
and
the
I know
access.
you're not, it's
yeah.
just help to explain to everybody else to
No,
understand it.
absolutely. We're definitely trying to be amenable there. Just
So
trying
it
to.
looks like then you're gonna go,
So I'll comment on the property to the north. Gentlemen's, that people who own it, they're out of New York State. I've had, reached out to them, our brokers kind of gave us the introduction, let them know what we wanted to do, had their attention kind of waned pretty quickly. And as Reed said, the last correspondence we had from them, like, if you need an answer, then you have to move on without us. That's what they said. I understand why it's
Yeah.
needed, and quite honestly, I think it probably works better just from, but they said no. And I have to take that was a no. And I can't just do a pretty please. I can do that, but whatever that would have cost me, now with a pretty please is gonna cost a lot more. And I understand why. I think we tried to come up, work
Yeah.
with the fire marshal to get something that, hey, if it's not A, he'd be comfortable with B. And quite honestly, like that shouldn't be, like, we won't look to ever get that as a full access, because quite honestly, it doesn't work. But for emergency purposes, that does the trick.
And if something, if there is a concern about traffic coming in and out, if something that significant happens there, then that road becomes the fire department and police departments, right? Then that whole area gets closed down and then.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the fire marshal has some suggested signage, language to put up. Obviously, we'll put that up. We've talked to them, gate with a Knox box, so only they have access to it, things like that. So it's just, again, a very emergency-only access. We want it to not look like anything other than just grass,
What it
and
is,
then,
right, right.
it has a secondary purpose.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anything else, Ron?
No.
Mr. Chairman.
Heather,
Yeah,
please.
I just want to clarify, with the gate and the Knox box, in the fire chief and I were talking about that, and in his September 22nd letter, he actually would prefer not to have a gate there with
Okay.
with a lockbox, because one of the reasons is that they're the only one that has the key. Sheriff doesn't have the key,
Okay.
no one else, and mutual aid wouldn't have a key, so
Then we'll
if
be
we
happy to
do
remove
the
it.
access drive, we would not want the gate there.
Just the signage.
Probably just the signage,
Okay.
and you can coordinate
And
that.
and
with
again,
the
it's
county
not
engineer.
gonna look like an entrance. It's just gonna kind of look like the rest of the grass that crosses the sidewalk there, but it'll be a grass paver that's load rated for them to use with a sign. The
Anything else?
hatching can be a little
No, I'm
deceiving
done.
on the
Thank you,
plans.
sir.
I have a few comments, but just to segue again, not to belabor the emergency access, given your site design, is it even feasible to get access to the north?
Is it feasible?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to do significant design change to accommodate it.
Well, we have our stormwater basin is back there.
Right.
So that would make it challenging. We would have to change our stormwater approach entirely in order to make that work. I haven't looked at the grading back there. I'm sure we
Yes.
could make it work if it was, that was the option that was allowed to us, or, we got the easement and could make it work. But, the building layout wouldn't change, but we'd have to change some of the underground options there. And then, again, we don't really
Okay.
have the ability to make that connection.
So the conversation with the property owner to the north wasn't to a specific location. For instance, towards the front of the building as opposed to the rear of the building.
It had to be the back of the building
Oh, it
according
had
to
to
the
be.
fire marshal. He said he needed to be able to, because we initially wanted to do something towards the front. He said that doesn't assuage my concerns of having somebody be able to get around if the truck broke down in the front entryway, I guess you would say. So that was
Okay.
he needs to be able to get to that southern drive.
Okay.
Yeah. We did throw that out there, and that was kind of the initial thought was, okay, could we just do something small up front? And then before we even could present that to the property owner, the fire marshal said, no, it has to be in the rear.
Okay. Well, I'm going to begin with comments, first of all, to compliment the plans. They're well prepared, the engineering.
Appreciate it.
Site design. Now I'll give the challenges.
Okay.
Did you consider other sites than this corner here in Concord?
This was the only one that we looked at.
This was the only one. You are aware of the district this is being located in, let alone the proximity to the roundabout? What Capitol Parkway and the Capitol District conceivably could be in terms of development under the current zoning directly across the street, right around the roundabout, walkways, pedestrians, people, restaurants, shops, right around that corner. Given that, I have concerns putting a daycare right there, but is that a concern of yours? Knowing the future development possibilities in that district?
It's not really a concern because, like I said, the sites that we really focus on are some of those transitional commercial areas where people are using as their primary mode of transportation to businesses, to places of work, things like that. So this kind of commercial corridor, kind of is the start of that, and that's kind of what we do look for. As far as having more people there, more cars there. Our operations are during normal business hours. So having a restaurant that, might be across the street and their busiest times are when we're closed. So, our peak times are really not when any of those other uses are in operation. We're not open on the weekends. We're not open after 6 o'clock. We're only open when people are going to work essentially and not using a lot of those retail and commercial facilities after
Okay.
business hours and on weekends.
So if you didn't consider other sites, ideally, what is a perfect site for a daycare like this? 200 children with infants.
A perfect site for a daycare like this would be
That's
would be on a main road.
question.
Would be the first property on a main road that from a neighborhood
Oh, neighborhood
towards
to
a
work.
commercial
To a highway.
highway. Yeah. So it's basically, hey, there's 1,000 people that drive this road every day that drive right past it that are going to the main road to go
work.
shop and go to work.
So like from operationally for Primrose, we don't do just sites like this, like ground up. We'll go into existing office buildings.
I read that,
Industrial areas and kind of do a tenant improvement to the buildings. So wherever, the fact that we're here, we're interested in the site. We wouldn't be here if we didn't. We are aware of everything that's going around. Quite honestly, it's a reason why we're here, because there's definitely going to be a lot of growth in this area, a lot of a lot of rooftops, the hospital's right up the street.
Yeah.
So, that is important. And, we'll do a lot of different things, and wherever there's a need, which in township, there clearly is a need for some daycare, and where we think it's gonna, where there's cars and rooftops, it works.
Yeah.
The drop-off park, as my colleagues have asked about, there are multiple entrances to the building. So how does a person arriving notify, how does
So
that happen?
There's multiple entrances to the building, yes, but those are all fenced in because those are points of egress from the classrooms to get to the playground areas. There's only one main entrance to the building for drop-off. So
that's where you
and
come
pick
in.
up.
and pick up. So
Oh,
there's a lot
okay.
of doors, but those are just strictly from classroom to leave to get to the sidewalk, and it's all fenced in for security, so they can walk around directly from their classroom to get to their designated outdoor play areas and back without having to walk through
Oh, very good.
other
They're not
classrooms.
outside of
Yeah.
the protected areas.
Okay.
Getting from the building
Yeah.
to the play area.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can't just drop off and walk directly in their classroom. You walk in through the front door.
So that's the same black aluminum fence that goes around the
Yes.
playgrounds around the front
Yeah.
of the building? Okay.
It's like a nice decorative,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, given that, then this next question probably is alleviated. There's a deep stormwater basin right to the south,
Yeah.
and could kids walk, are they gonna be
They
fenced?
can't, yeah, they're all fenced in.
They're-
They can't-
They're all fenced
They're all
in.
fenced in.
They're all
yeah.
corralled, is that what everybody wants to say? Yeah, right.
No, there's the only time that they would ever be outside of the fence is when they're with their parent and going to and from their car.
Okay, all right, okay. I think maybe that my last comment was here, and I knew of the property soils, and one of the comments here from stormwater is it's a high groundwater table and poorly drained soils. That probably is not, obviously something you're aware of
Yeah.
for design, to where that tape groundwater is.
Yeah,
For
that-
foundations and such.
Yeah, we're aware of it. Obviously, we're gonna design around it, and as a stormwater, I think he has a comment in here about putting a liner in, so that
Yeah.
way there's, that's pretty standard, especially in kind of the Great Lakes region.
Yeah, it is.
So-
That close to 90 it is.
It is, they're close to 90 it is, yes, yes.
On I'm sorry,
No, go ahead, John, I'm trying-
A7.0, your sightline, your parapet height, did you guys raise the parapet height so you can't see the RTUs? Is that what you did?
I believe so. All the equipment is
Vertically screened?
vertically screened. Yeah. Yeah.
Not on the roof, but it's vertically screened by the parapet?
By the parapet. Yeah.
I thought I saw a note on there, like the north elevation, you can see it, right?
I don't think we have a sight line for the north, from the north.
Right.
It's from the south and from the west.
We have one from the north.
On 8.1.0, you can see the rooftop.
Oh, you're in the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Listen, it was a question, so
Okay,
I wanted to
sorry.
throw it out there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
Just
think-
trying to get them all out. Look,
Yeah.
I mean, I think,
No, it's good.
yeah, it looks good.
Okay. Yeah, we'll consider that again. Let me ask again, the board, any other questions? Frank, you may,
No, everything I had questions
John?
haven't been answered.
Questions
Outside
or
of-
comment?
Outside of the recommendations, no. I mean, I do not.
Ron?
I'm good, sir.
I don't know. Okay, so this is the site plan review application. Bridie, procedurally, can I defer until we do the building, or should I take a motion on the
I think they're technically two separate considerations. So
two separate applications, two
you
separate?
can do them together, but they are two separate.
Two separate.
Yep.
One last thing.
Yeah,
if you don't mind
please.
me, sir.
No, please.
So you have read the staff recommendations?
Yes.
Right, and I'm assuming that everything that's in the staff recommendations,
We're not pushing back on a single.
you're agreeing to,
One question.
yep,
So as far as the fence, so typically what we do is we put the decorative fence, we typically don't, if you're not gonna be able to see it, but in this case, we're willing to do around the back, on the back side. We usually have it in the interior, the chain link, it's about a 4 foot, just kind of separates the different play areas. That'd be the only where we wouldn't do it if it would be okay with the commission. You're never gonna be able to see it really anyway, but if it's an issue, we can do it, but we typically don't do it on the interior.
Which is only three
It's three, I think it's.
4-foot-high fences inside the
Yeah.
6
instead of
foot.
running perpendicular to the
The
building.
range.
Yes,
Yeah.
basically separating the 4-year-olds from the 3-year-olds, the different play groups and different equipment, so.
Yeah. I don't want to comment that there's barbed wire on top, too.
There's no barbed wire.
It's just chain link.
We saved that for the rougher.
You save that.
We're gonna
All right.
speak amongst ourselves about that, right? About the chain link in the
Oh,
back. Because I'm okay, I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Chain link, a concern, Ron?
in between.
That makes sense.
It makes more sense, it's softer with
Yeah.
kids, and I totally get that.
Yeah, I get that, too.
Yeah.
Heather, I know that's per our resolution, chain link is not permitted. In this instance, would it be to our discretion, or does it require variance? Sorry. It's in the resolution without,
Yeah.
no chain link, so. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't know if Bridie, maybe, do they have some discretion under the design review to permit that?
You have discretion.
We do have discretion, she said.
Thanks, Brady.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay,
That was one of the stipulations under the design review.
all right.
So when you get to that, you could amend, take that off if you did not.
All right, if there's no further discussion on the site plan review application, I'll consider a motion, and in that motion, we'll need to stipulate all of the comments, items enumerated in the staff report dated October the 7th, 2025.
I'd like to make a motion then. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept unconditional approval of the site plan, correct? Based on the following conditions. Number 1, eliminate the proposed 13-foot emergency access drive gate and sign from the plans. Is that correct?
I think it was just
Nope.
the gate.
Sorry.
If I may,
Just
John.
right, yep.
I got clarification. We have many comments. here,
Yes.
Many, stormwater.
Do you want to go through all
My
of them?
suggestion is to make this all-inclusive in the motion as stipulated in the report dated October 7th, and they need to agree to that.
Okay.
That they will agree to all comments as stipulated by all agencies, departments, and the staff in the report of October the 7th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, Mr. Chairman, should
Yeah.
we modify the first staff condition, though, because
Yes.
I mean, it sounds like we've agreed to not pursue looking to the north, right? Or
Yes.
where is the commission at on that? I'm not sure. I don't,
Yeah, I was waiting for the
sounds
motion.
like that is the first.
I was waiting for the motion.
Okay.
I understand it might be a lost cause, but I'm not sure I got closure on that. What does the board think?
We can provide staff our correspondence with them, or, to show that there's not a willingness to grant us an easement.
I'm thinking, not that I don't trust what you said.
Yeah, no,
But-
I get it.
But
You're
was
not
there?
going to offend me by saying
Okay.
And to your point, once we say it, it's done, right?
Yeah.
And we all know that.
Yeah.
And I
Right?
mean, I think the way that comment 1 is written leaves the opportunity for me to make another phone call. And if that's not feasible, then it
It's
just
true.
defers
It's in-
right to.
Yeah.
It's in
Makes
the,
sense.
yeah, thank you.
So, okay.
It
See,
does-
we're friends.
I said, we are,
We are friends.
we're
It's not
getting
done
there. We're
yet.
getting there. Not done
So,
yet. John, so yes.
am I gonna read all these, Brian?
No.
Okay.
I don't think you have to. You can
So we've done this before, right? I actually had to read all of
I
them.
think,
Yes.
yeah, and I'm,
Okay, you wanna expedite it?
yes.
Yes.
But
We
it
don't-
might be a good idea to at least refer to
Refer
like
to-
numbers 1 through
Like,
Right. The numbers.
13 as
Stormwater
provided
department.
by
Right.
the staff regarding the conditions.
1 through-
I don't know.
Okay. We revise this then.
yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna make a motion to accept unconditional approval of the site plan, right? Per zoning staff comments, right? And the comments from other departments and or agencies, the Lake County Engineer, the Concord Township Fire Departments, the Lake County Stormwater Management Department, and staff recommendations. As of October 7th, 2025, for the Primrose Schools applicant.
Very good. So we have a motion, finally, Mr. Wordle, to provide conditional approval. Looking for a second?
Mr. Chairman, I approve, second.
We have a motion for approval and a second. Roll call, Heather, please.
Mr. Wertel,
Yes.
Mr. Terriaco,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes,
Mr. Eiffelise.
I'm going to qualify, I'm going to say yes. Under the authority that we have under the zoning commission, we're here to approve site plan. I personally have reservations about this is the best use for the site, but it is well-designed, it's a well-thought-out project, so I will approve as well.
Thank you.
All right,
Well done, well said.
okay, moving on. Where am I? Okay, the second item is the design review, the design review application, number 62, submitted by Primrose Schools for proposed child daycare center to be located on Auburn Road on parcel number 08-A-020-00-00-005-0. So on the design review of the building, perhaps you can overview the style, design, architecture, albeit you're an engineer, right?
Yeah,
Okay, please.
I was just with our architect, so. Yep, so again, the school that we're bringing, Primrose, we come in and we pride ourselves in high-end architecture. As you can see, a lot of elements that kind of complement that residential look that we're going for. I know one of the elements of the Capital District is a pitched roof. We do show that with the tower element at the front, which does dominate the aesthetic there. The rest of the roof does have a lot of awning elements and things like that that give it the appeal that it does have kind of that roofing look that you would like to see from a residential aesthetic. This allows us to put the rooftop equipment up there, as well as have some of the with the parapet, some of the required screening that we look for. There's a lot of elements that help break up the facade. You can see the vertical elements. There's some brick elements on the bottom as well. Overall, it's a really good-looking product. We've never had a complaint on the aesthetic of it. If you looked up kind of the branding that we go with, really complementary to a lot of the residential uses, like I said, that we like to be at.
All set?
That's
Okay.
That's everything.
Okay, didn't want to interrupt.
I appreciate it.
Members, any comments, Frank, on the building design?
None, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. John?
Is this a typical Primrose building?
This is the current prototype, yes.
Prototype, this is it?
Yep.
And how current is this design?
I think they just adopted it, beginning of this year?
Has it been built anywhere else?
There's a couple that they switched to, that are about to go under construction, but I don't believe that.
They can find out where the closest one
Yeah.
is that works.
Yeah.
Let you guys know.
Yeah, or even pictures, but yes.
Okay, I'll try to find pictures right now.
That'd be awesome. Has there been any thought, and I'm sure not, because you don't have the plans, but along this elevation to break up the flatness of it, in lieu of a pitched roof, an entire pitched roof, but a reverse gable on any of that, any of those elevations? Even it could be a faux reverse gable.
There's a few different, if you look at the east and west elevations, kind of the long elevations, that we do have like the parapet difference in height to try to give up some of those broken elements.
100%.
That's kind of what the architect has, interpreted the best use to kind of meet in the middle there.
Okay. Good question, John. Thanks, John. Ron, please. Anything?
I'm sorry, I was trying to read that. I real one last question. And I tried to read through here really quick and I couldn't see it. Is that brick? Is that three-phase brick, or is it lick and stick, as I call it? But
I think it's a thin brick.
That's what you call it in construction. So yeah, it's construction talk here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know it is.
That's what I call it.
Yeah, right. I apologize. It's what we talk.
No, it's not. I think it's like a thin brick.
Thin brick. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I couldn't get that word out right, so that's where I went.
So make sure we had that recorded in the minutes.
That's right, exactly.
There you go.
I appreciate you looking us
Oh, no
up.
worries.
Yep.
Texas.
I know Eastern Texas.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
I appreciate you looking us up.
No worries, Mr.
That, if I, siding color, Jason, that's not, this is proposed Arctic White.
Is white, Arctic white, right?
That is probably.
That's probably Arctic white with the sunset.
Yeah.
With the sunset. With the sunset.
Got 30.
Run with the stick. Yeah.
Okay.
And I know there's pictures like that in here, but
That's okay. A picture.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, seeing it in like actual
Of course.
constructed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So on the floor plan design, since classrooms like back-to-back with a hallway, center hallway this way, I was only, and I think you answered this earlier, trying to just, the takeaway from the elevation is all those doors. Is it a necessity because of the way the floor plan is, or is?
It's an operational thing.
Yeah, okay.
It kind of helps reduce some congestion in the hallways, while, classes are moving to and from both the, their own classroom to the outdoor space, as well as some of the shared experience space that we have inside that allows, a lot of the teachers to not have to, fight to get to the same place or get to the outdoor space at the same time.
Okay.
Gives them their own personal egress to that. Again, we have, most of the doors are, they're pretty well spaced, just kind of next to each other. We have that decorative fence that goes around the building in that area too, that helps kind of break some of that up, as well as the movement of the foundational landscaping.
It's not because of rotating kids from front to back and back to front.
No.
They're
It's-
like in there all day,
They're in there all day, and then they can leave to go to the, they
fenced in.
fenced in.
Got it. It's jail. I got it. Take care.
Totally just sit
Take
It's very expensive,
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there gates on the fencing on the outside, or is it,
There's a couple emergency gates, or if they had to leave, so they don't have to go back to the building, but those remain locked.
so
Until,
let's talk like each individual.
oh, so you would walk out, and there's a 6-foot sidewalk that's fenced in that you would not have to walk through another gate until you got to the actual playground, which is
Okay.
gated.
Okay.
So you're not walking. I got to open 15 gates to get all the way around the building.
Going back to, John, going
Yeah,
back to
I'm done.
John's thing about the sightline hiding the RTUs from the north. So
Yeah.
the north elevation, the north and south elevation have no parapet.
Yeah, we can make sure that those are acceptable. I don't see why they wouldn't currently meet the sightline requirements.
Yeah, not knowing how the lay of the land goes to the north, if it goes up or down.
Yeah, so the property to the north is a little bit lower.
It's lower.
Lower than us, so they're going to be even
Yeah.
more shielded, as well as I believe to
Yeah.
the east of us is wooded and
Yep.
also lower. We're kind of the high point. Everything kind of either drains north to on Auburn or to that drainage swale, east. So,
So the west is going to be Auburn Road, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm not trying to nitpick it, but it's our responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
So if you look at the one elevation, the west elevation, you do see the RTU poking its head out of there. I guess my concern would be and you could do this during construction, right? Is to ensure that that line of sight is blocked on the west elevation, if it's extending that parapet over, or, and look, at the parapet could be the same height,
Yeah.
same width. Just slide it over so that that's blocked on that west elevation. I'm not as worried about the north. Right? I'm not worried about the east as much because you commercial buildings back there. But I think if we're going to worry about it and focus our energy on it, it should be focused on that Auburn Road view line.
Yeah.
I didn't really, I was lucky enough to build a couple Wendy's lately, and I really didn't think about it as I'm building them, right? And then pulled around the back of the building, which is actually the front of the building, and there was the RTUs. Well, they were blocked from the road, but not from the main part that everybody got to see.
Yeah.
And it was approved. I was just the general contractor, but it was interesting, and I'm like, wow, it makes sense now. So
Yeah.
I think if you guys could think about that in construction or stipulate that we want those screened off, I think that would be important to this
Yeah.
commission.
We can make sure that those are fully screened.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
While I agree with you, John, the staff recommendations is to provide sightline for the adjacent properties for the north and the east as well, because it's in our resolution. Correct?
It was a concern by staff, just that
Oh.
those elevations hadn't been addressed when I initially
Oh, so it's a
requested
concern.
to ensure that,
Okay.
yeah, well, yes, the part about having the rooftop mounted equipment is required in the resolution.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
But shielded on all sides.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that doesn't need to be done by parapet, though. That could be done by vertical screen on the
Oh,
roof. correct?
absolutely, absolutely.
I was being more specific on the parapet.
Right, and,
elevation
and that is in the staff's
recommendation.
number 2.
Yeah.
So Heather's already has that noted as number 2.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something to demonstrate how,
Yeah, we can add north and
We'll just provide.
Vertical
Yeah.
screen,
yeah.
this is obviously limited number of conditions as opposed to what's on the site plan. So there's really only 8 here on that's stipulated here. I think, I don't have any other questions on the building design. Frank?
I don't have any questions. Matter of fact, we talked about the doors, access on the side and stuff. I favor that a lot, especially then forbid there's an emergency. The quicker you can get people out of there, which this would assist, is what I have a concern and
Okay.
I like to see.
Okay. John?
My only concern is if we go by staff recommendations, number one,
Pitch roof.
we're gonna have to not include that one.
Right.
I'm okay with it as long as they address the,
Is that, yeah, or Frank, pitch roof,
Sure,
there isn't any on the rest of the building.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
okay. Ron?
I concur.
Okay, concur.
Can I ask
Yes.
a question about the one comment in there? that
Yes.
was on the last one?
Please.
The signs on the shade structure, so this is just our logo that's on the shade that'll be above the play areas. If it's not, is it permitted to be on those, or is it, I guess I wasn't really clear.
Can we get
We
up?
prefer them to be on there,
Can we-
but if it's an ordinance requirement that says that they're not, then
Can we get a signage permit to put logos on there?
it's
or-
your logo?
yeah.
Yeah, so there's like some shade elements to the playground that, kind of this large green awning
Yeah.
almost, and we put a Primrose logo on them. I think that's what the comment is tailored for.
Yeah.
May I approach?
Yeah, we're not,
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a judge.
So, like,
Oh, there it is.
yeah. you
Up here.
Yeah, yep, yep.
Okay,
Something like that.
okay.
Yeah, it's these.
It's your brand.
Sure.
So that's so you can see it underneath or from above?
So the zoning, Mr. Chairman, the
Yeah,
zoning
please.
resolution doesn't explicitly permit it, so if it's not permitted, then therefore it's not allowed, is the way that my interpretation of that was.
Yeah,
Because we allow building signs, wall signs, freestanding monument signs.
Would they be allowed to come back after, if they wanted to, and ask, get a variance to put it on after if we approve it without it, or,
Well, with any zoning requirement, there is the opportunity to ask for a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals.
okay, so that's question for Bridie again.
that's why you're here?
And I have to retract or go back to the site plan because I think we failed in the conditional approval to cite the permission of the chain link fence. I think that needs to be put in. Expressed. And now on this one, there are two items. If we so choose, are they require variance or may, at our discretion, the pitch roof and the logo?
And I think you can still have discretion.
We still have discretion. Okay.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
The fence was on the design review, not on the site plan.
I know,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying we didn't make that in the
Right,
motion.
and that was for the design review.
Correct, we didn't
Okay.
state that in the motion
So we're allowing the chain
to
link
allowing the chain link fence.
Because you haven't made a motion yet on the design review.
We did.
You did?
on the site plan review we did.
Site plan,
Site plan.
site plan.
We're talking about design review, though.
The
The fences
chain-
are reviewed as part of the design review of the
Yeah.
building.
Oh,
Yeah.
We're,
So you haven't
You're
skipped
so
over.
ahead of yourself, look at
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I knew that, I was just making sure. Just making sure you were listening.
You
Yeah,
were doing a
thank you.
great job.
Heather passed.
Thank you for keeping me on track.
Because that's why we said we'd wait.
Sure,
We
you
wait,
were.
yeah.
We're tough on ourselves.
Yes.
These guys are like, wow, you guys are starting with this. Yeah.
Okay.
Feel better?
Yeah, I do. Okay,
So we
we're-
have discretion on the logo.
And the pitch roof and the chain link fence.
Correct.
Chain link fence, okay. I have no other questions on the design review. If no other member of the board here does, entertain a motion.
I'll entertain a motion. Brian, how do I want to include
Those eight.
these 8, but we're going to use discretion on our pitch roof?
Yeah. I think, Brad, if I may, we got to go through each one of these.
I think that would be best.
Yeah, okay.
But in doing so, we're going to
We're gonna
say
say-
that we're going to consider it without the pitched roof then?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Wortell, I would just recommend listing the ones you want them to comply with. Eliminate the conditions you do not want them,
There
that
you
you don't
go.
care about, and just state the ones that you do want them to comply
That's what
with.
she said. All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to make a recommendation for conditional approval of the design review application on October 7th, 2025, with the considered changes, or the considered recommendations, conditions. Building walls, parapets, and/or roof systems shall be designed to conceal all roof-mounted mechanical equipment from view to adjacent properties and public rights-of-way. Provide sightline diagrams to demonstrate how the units will be screened from adjacent properties from all elevations. Bollards should be painted black. Replace the proposed, I'm going to say this one. Replace the proposed 4-foot chain link fence with same ornamental fencing proposed for the perimeter of the play areas, except for the chain link fences that separate the sections, interior sections, running perpendicular to the building only. Signs will require a separate zoning permit prior to erection. Extend the proposed wall to the south if the 13-foot wide access drive will be removed, but it's not. Provide construction details with dimensions for all walls and piers.
Okay. We have a motion for conditional approval as stated. Do I have a second?
You have a second? I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second for conditional approval as stated. Heather, the roll call, please.
Mr. Terriaco?
Yes.
Mr. Schindler?
Yes,
Mr. Wurtel?
Yes.
Mr. Ifelis?
Yes.
Really appreciate your guys'
All right.
time. We're happy to be
That
here.
concludes it. Thank
Good
you
job,
very
guys.
much for accommodating our questions and comments. Good luck with the project. We wish you well. Hope it does well for our community as well. So good luck. And thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Welcome to our community. I think it's going to be a great success.
We're really excited, and I think we're friends, Rich, so
Thank you, guys.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Heather, for all the reviews. I know this has been back and forth, a lot of multiple conversations and discussions. Thank you for the efforts through here.
Thank you.
We're putting this package together for us. Thank you. We have time, gentlemen. We'll continue into old business on our agenda. Number 1 is work session to review the sign regulations. So, before us, we have several items in our packet. A revision to consider of Section 30 signs for this meeting. We also have a legal opinion, legal research from our legal counsel on the question of the sign regulations as it relates to the highway. And we also have provided to us by Heather the types of election summary from, I presume, the Ohio Revised Code, where this comes from, for our clarification, given the discussion we had at last month's meeting. My intent, colleague, primarily because there's more to do, as Heather had indicated to me prior, is to just further our work session along. And that's what this will be. I don't know if there's there's no timetable, right, that we have to do, and we can just extend. So this is another work session. I don't consider what's provided here as something for final approval, let alone Heather has more to share with us as we move forward. So I want to begin with the thorough research provided by Bridie's Law Clerk here on the Highway Beautification Act and how it impacts what we wish to do on any regulating signs. It's a rather extensive research, Bridie, thank you, that was provided. After I read it, I needed to read it again.
Yeah, there's a lot
Oh,
of,
yeah, a lot to digest.
Yes, there's a lot to digest. And it led me to some confusion in the, I don't know if I want to jump to this item right now, but I will since it's on top of mind. In the October, the latest revisions provided for signs, I'll just draw your attention to the newest rendition, page 30.23. 30.23. Hate to jump into that.
You're all right.
But that was,
We'll follow you.
this was the top of our packet. In 30.23, at the bottom of the page, number 2, and the subsequent language for the signs along the highway is crossed out, or is eliminated. And so that got me confused because the discussion in the legal paper memo, it says regulations contemplated are permissible under state and federal law, are contemplated. And then perhaps I'm reading the wrong section or referring to the wrong section, that we could indicate what we wanted for signs or regulating signs because legally we are permitted to do, or we can with the disclaimer of advertising, regulating advertising. So if someone could go clarify that for me, maybe you guys do, or Bridie, Heather?
Oh, yeah, I will.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
Yeah, I was planning on telling you about that. So actually on page 30.21, we just relocated that section, because if you remember, we're kind of eliminating the table. So if you look at page 30.21,
Jay.
sub J, signs along a controlled access highway.
Oh.
And the reason why we were talking about this last month is we were talking about the pole signs, the 20, 30-foot tall signs on 44 or lots that back up to I-90, and there was a question on whether or not we could regulate that because of, we didn't know at the time of this Highway Beautification Act necessarily the name of it, but then the law clerk looked into it. You know, what we have currently in the resolution is fine, and what we're proposing would also be okay.
Okay.
But based on our conversation last month, what I was hearing from the board, and correct me if I'm wrong, but was that you guys were open to like taller pole signs on lots, on commercial lots that have a right-of-way or frontage on I-90, but not necessarily
44.
on 44.
Correct.
So what I proposed to put in here was essentially what we had previously, before we eliminated the 30-foot tall signs down to 12-foot, which occurred a few years ago, that would permit a pole sign on a lot that abuts I-90, making sure that it has to be within 20 feet of that property line, could be 30 feet tall and 120 square feet.
Okay.
And then
I think I missed it because everything's in
yeah,
red.
Yeah. And my plan is to
No,
eventually get you one with all the track
No, I agree.
changes and
No,
then
that's
one
fine.
with everything accepted.
No, that's good.
So you can see a clean
Yep.
version and understand it better.
Yep, thank you. Thank you. Okay, that clarifies a silly question. I missed it there. Okay.
No such thing as a silly.
Yeah.
You were confusing me to start off with, and we got to the answer.
Yeah, I started off with, I got the answer.
Right.
Any questions from the board on this particular matter? The highway, this clarification from the law clerk on the
No,
highway beautification?
thanks for the work, Dilbert.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, I don't have it.
Yeah, so at this point, then, Heather, did you include this language, this disclaimer? Yes. Is in
Yes, J4,
J4.
right there on page 30.21.
Very bottom.
Got it.
Great job.
Great.
Well, that was Brady.
Great job.
We work together,
Advertising spelled
yeah.
with an S. I think it's a Z.
Yes.
The-
Advertising.
Z. Zing.
Oh, advertising.
Never mind.
And
Okay.
the main question is, no, it's S.
Okay. So I brought the September, because I was looking at what I had here. Do you have a preference, Heather, to go through these as we did, or the ones that we highlighted and questioned, or?
I had a few things written
You
down
do?
that I did
Please.
want to
Okay,
point
great,
out, yes.
great. I was
So all
hoping,
due
I was
respect,
hoping you say that.
I don't
Yes.
have September's, right, because I was not here.
That's,
Yeah.
I don't think we need the September version.
You don't, you don't.
Okay, just
But,
wanted
yep, yeah,
to
the
make sure.
October version,
Okay.
is a good,
Perfect.
the most up-to-date, yeah. So one of the things that Hiram brought up last month's meeting is he wanted to see any of the pictures or images that we were gonna have within, in the sign
Oh.
regulations.
Yes.
Referenced in the text, like with figure number, or something like that to identify those. So,
Yes.
for any of the figures, so basically, starting on page 30.9, so we have a couple images that show how to calculate sign area. So I've included in some references, like see figure 1, figure 2. You'll see under the freestanding sign, it looks like I didn't identify those figures, but we're gonna eliminate the tall pole sign one and just show the one.
Okay.
But it's on the second page, on the next page. So all the figures are now referenced from in the text with the label.
Okay.
So I went through and I did that. We also talked about on section 30.04, which is on page 3014. So
Yes.
section 30.04, the title of that section.
Yes.
So I made a change for it to state that the permanent signs for residential uses and signs in residential districts. So sometime, and the reason why we need to say for residential uses is because sometimes we have a single-family dwelling in a commercial district.
Oh,
For example,
Yeah.
right here at our intersection, we're Town Hall Commons, we have a couple non-conforming houses that are located here. We would not want to allow them to have to follow the commercial sign regulations, but rather they should follow sign regulations for
3004.
one-family and two-family residential properties,
Very
which
good.
would capture that.
Any questions?
Understood. Like that.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Go
and then I was gonna talk about the signs along the controlled access highway.
Oh, yeah.
So if, we can have a further discussion about that, but starting on page 30.21. Like I said, it sounded like the commission was open to allowing them to have them on parcels that adjoin I-90. Didn't sound so much like on 44, but that's definitely something you can talk about. So some of those lots that are on Auburn Road that have double frontage, that the back of the lot joins 44, you know, would you, under the current regulations, they could have a second sign at that rear secondary setback, or that rear frontage, but under the current regulations, the maximum height's 12 feet. Initially, when the resolution was put together, it allowed for a much taller height, the 20 or the 30 feet. So the question, I guess, for the board is, do we want lots that have frontage on 44 to be able to have a taller pole sign, like, or not? Or should they be required to just have their sign on the street that they actually have access from, Auburn or Cryle, with the ground-based, like, lower monument type sign, which could be as tall as 12 feet?
So,
Like McDonald's,
so if it's not advertising,
yeah.
what would a sign be if it was on 44 or I-90, other than advertising?
So I think the Highway Beautification Act is really looking at, their definition of advertising is not the same that we're saying for signs, and I don't know if Brady wants to talk about that more or
No,
not.
it's
I
just-
mean,
I mean, it's totally confusing. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
it is?
Right,
Okay, so
so
I'm-
what the
go ahead.
feds did is they said, state, you guys can be in control, but the state has not fixed the issue here. There's
Okay.
obviously very confusing and conflicting
Yeah.
things. That's why we have that disclaimer, is to say, hey, we're not trying to regulate advertising
Advertising.
devices. As they're defined in the Ohio Revised Code, right? So
Right.
very different than how we define signs.
Mm-hmm.
That's really kind of the only fix we can really we can really do. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, isn't it an advertising device? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that it actually fits the definition under the Ohio Revised Code. So that's kind of our disclaimer and our out, if you will, if anyone were to challenge us. Meaning they'd have to go to the Ohio, ODOT, essentially, to the director to get permission. If for some reason they're going to challenge us and say, hey, listen, and we deny them for whatever reason a permit to put up the sign, they would have to get approval from ODOT.
Whether it's 44 or 90.
That's what I understand.
That's right. Okay.
Yes, because
Right.
those two
It's a state
are,
route.
yeah, correct.
An interstate. I understand. So, assuming or presuming ODOT would give a permit for a pole sign along 44, and then our reg would say it's got to be 30? Maximum height is 30 feet? The way it's written?
That's what we were drafting currently.
But we can make it
Yes.
whatever we want.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's
But the
what
draft is
Right.
30 feet.
yes.
Right. So, it's advertising along 44.
Yeah, I know.
A logo is advertising? I'm asking. This is
Yes.
a question. A brand is advertising, right?
Yeah.
Possibly under the Ohio Revised Code, yeah, they could consider it to be. So yes, I mean, it's,
McDonald's.
Oh,
It's a,
I understand that.
I don't consider 44 a state highway.
no, but it's
Well, it is.
considered
It
a
is.
I know, but it's coming into a community, a residential plus a nice laid out area that we're proposing for business
Yes.
stuff. Having something that's 120 feet tall,
We're not,
I would just, the 12-foot thing,
Right, right.
I would find more not only aesthetic, but more logical than driving on a freeway.
we
like
can't
90.
prohibit it. We can't prohibit this sign. correct?
No, not prohibited, but keep it at a lower elevation. That's me personally.
because of that ambiguity,
right.
Heather, the suggestion is to put a disclaimer.
That's correct.
What if we agreed we don't want these billboards and signs along 44?
Well,
What if we don't, we just don't want them?
To what Heather said, we could only allow signs on the frontage. Is that, can we
limit
We
it?
can do,
Can we limit it to only the signs in that, on the front, the property could only have signs on the street that it fronts on? Yeah, I mean, the address, because the address is not 44, the address is Auburn Road.
Auburn or Crowd.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not for limiting, we know,
I'd have to look.
we know that, but I mean, that's the question, I think, of, right?
Right, that is the question.
Because Shell gas station's advertising, but that's on Crowd Road, right? There's signs on Crowd Road,
Right.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
BP was on Auburn Road, that sign,
yeah.
right?
University Hospital. Well, that's only
Oh, no,
90.
that's why they have one on 90.
Yeah, well, they got a permit.
Right, right, and they have one on Auburn Road.
Right at the corner.
On Auburn, not on 44.
Well, it's the
It's
corner of
not
Auburn.
40.
Yeah, you can see
yeah.
it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I guess. I
So
don't know
could
if-
it be only that could the sign be allowed only on the road that it's fronted on?
In other words, can we regulate that and say that?
Yes.
That's my question.
I think we can. Still think we have to have that disclaimer. Yeah. I know that sounds silly, but I
No.
mean, I think there's clearly law, right, that says that ODOT is making that call with respect to maybe not frontage, but it sounds like kind of fronting along these controlled access highways. We call them controlled access highways, but really they're the interstate and the primary.
Yeah, it's an interstate. Well,
The other
90 is
word,
an
primary
interstate,
system.
44 is an intrastate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have to look further, I think.
Yeah,
Really, because-
just for,
It's a good discussion.
I'm of the opinion, let it be challenged. I can't see why we would permit signs along 44. It's just,
We don't have to.
that's that's what we're disclaiming. We're saying they could we're saying
We're saying, like, in J, signs along controlled access highway.
Yes.
We're not giving them any allowance, we're not talking about State Route 44. We've not said that they can do a pole sign at State Route 44. We're not talking about 44 at all. We're talking about just 90 here.
Yeah, number 2 then
Yeah.
says, oh, along such highway. This is, you mean it's only, this is only, all these items only pertain to I-90?
Yes, sign, yeah.
But I thought you brought
I
up
thought you brought
44.
up 44.
I had asked you in addition to that, do you guys want to do
No.
anything on
Oh,
44?
that's not in here yet.
No,
Because
no.
last meeting,
The
we
last
talked
meeting.
about 90, and we were discouraging
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
44.
Oh, I
Yeah,
wasn't here.
and I just wanted to
Yeah, no,
confirm.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking me down your rabbit hole with you. I
Hey,
was
you
I was
did.
with you.
You were.
I was jumping right there with you.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for,
We're bringing you up.
yeah, well, not just
So the
me.
board-
No, me too. I was there.
Okay. So you
Okay.
don't want to see pole signs?
I'm of the opinion,
Jason
no,
44.
absolutely
Yes,
not.
neither do I.
If we have any control locally, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Until it gets challenged, but no.
right.
Wait till it's challenged.
Wait till it's challenged. So I interrupted, well, no, we had questions as you were going through this, Heather, so
Okay,
you were here at this
Yeah, I was
section, which
just-
we now know
Okay.
and understand
Yeah.
better. Thank you.
okay. All right.
At least we have clarification. At least we have clarification.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the other, one of the other topics that came up at the last meeting as well had to do under the temporary sign regulations
Yes.
on page 30 or 30.30. .09G, these were signs during elections. So, this was in an effort to loosen the restrictions on on page 30.30.
Got it.
Okay. G, signs during elections.
Yes, thank you.
The
Yes.
point of this was to trying to loosen up the restrictions during election cycles to allow residential property owners the ability to have a little bit more temporary signage. And we started talking about, because we're indicating here during a general primary or special election, there was a discussion on the board whether or not that covered all the election types that we had in the
Right,
state of Ohio. And do we need to define it? Based on what I found, and that was just a little handout I gave you, like there were two things. Frank LaRose kind of like did a summary of just the 3 election types, but the Ohio Revised Code also gives definitions to what the elections are. And I think that any type of election would be covered under there, like any issue or that would come up would be voted on during one of these type of elections.
So I'm sorry, and I wasn't, so we restricted political signs to 8 square feet, 2 foot by 4 foot?
This was a proposed regulation. Currently, we have no size limitations. So this was a recommendation.
So the big 4 by 8s that people put up and then take them down, that we're gonna say no to those now?
Which section is that?
Section G, it says.
Oh,
it
yeah,
says-
didn't read, keep going. Yep.
Yes, signs prior to 3 days for a general primary, provided that no such sign shall be larger than 8 square feet. That's 2 foot by 4 foot.
2 by.
So what are,
That's what limiting this political sign.
that was just something I had,
I-
a
I-
starting
I'm-
point?
I know, but I'm
Yeah,
asking.
yeah, is there a?
Did it
what's
come
some-
from an adjacent,
We looked at Willoughby
Yeah,
on
Willoughby.
that. I mean, I don't know all the sizes of election signs, so I
You
mean, we
get some
can look
4 by
at.
8s.
4 by 8.
4 by 8 is the big ones, especially on a bigger road or like on a faster road. I know that. I mean, 'cause you can only see so much. Quite honestly, because I'm now looking at the signs for what the school board elections are out right now, and driving at 40 miles an hour, which I always did the speed limit, but 40 miles an hour up Goodwood Road, in which I live on, there's some I'm trying to read them, and I know officials I can read, but I mean, going on a faster road where you want to put a sign up, I'm being sincere when I ask this because I know there's
Sure.
people, there's data driven that says you can only read so much at going so many miles per hour. And I think that's why people went to those bigger 3x5 signs. Now, you know, 4x8 signs, thank you, 4x8 signs, which is 32 square feet.
Does, to further that, does this apply to any zoning district? The sign side? Because C is temporary signs in residential, D is temporary signs in non-residential, and then we are in signs during elections. Signs permitted on any residential lot is not restricted. So a residential lot, am I right, Heather? We're referring to a residential lot to restrict it to 2x4 or 8 square feet,
8 square feet.
Correct.
not in non-residential areas.
Well, right, and even this, the way this is worded, this only applies to lots being used for residential.
But that's under C, but this is under
G.
G,
G.
Yeah.
This
which
specifically
is-
seeing political signs.
signs during elections, not necessarily political signs, but signs during elections.
Are you going to be limited to 8 square feet?
Yes.
Okay. I'm
Well,
not
I
in
mean-
favor of it. I'm
No,
just,
but it-
obviously I don't agree with it, but I mean, that's just.
Well, and that's up to the board to.
But is it clear that it's residential only? In other words, they can do a bigger one in a commercial lot.
I would say in a commercial lot, you would not be able to do a bigger one. You would be bound by
By where?
whatever the restrictions are for commercial districts.
Oh, there's a
For non,
separate
that you go
size,
back to D. So
16.
yeah, so
16.
G is it's the signs during elections, that kind of, that period is only giving residential lots more time or more signage, not necessarily commercial lots. So the business corridor wouldn't be given an additional temporary sign allowance to put up more signs during an election cycle. Just lots that are being, like, people live there, right?
Okay. My first read on the revision, Heather, was under 3009C number 2. So 3009C is temporary signs in residential. Number 2 says not to exceed 45 days, temporary signs. Could that be confusing with signs during election, which is limited to 30 days? Could there be any confusion by the way the law, the way we are proposing it? Temporary signs not to exceed 45 days in all residential districts. But signs during election in residential is 30 days.
No, it's 30
Am I
days
reading it
prior
right?
to the day, this is to try to establish the time period. That's not saying that you only can leave them up for 30 days. It's 30 days prior to the day that absentee ballots are available.
Oh,
To when?
to when?
Yeah.
To 3 days,
To
and up to
3
3 days
after
following the election.
After the election.
Got it. But then 2 says temporary signs can't exceed 45 days.
Okay.
Is there?
So
does
is
that lead
this
to any
longer
con-
than 45 days, or?
I believe absentee is 30 days before the election.
I don't know. I'll have to look.
I would think
Might
that,
actually be more than that.
I think it's more
yeah,
than
yeah,
that.
I think it allows you to leave it up longer, and the way I would look at it is, if you're in that election cycle, then as the zoning inspector, I'd be looking at G,
Looking
and
at-
not counting the 45 days that would be outside of that.
So what qualifies as a temporary sign that's not in an election year?
Garage sale,
A garage, okay, right. Sure. Yeah.
graduation party.
Yep. John lives here.
John lives here.
I don't know why I said that. Okay, so okay, thank you for, temporary signs not exceeding 45.
But, I
And
mean,
then- yeah.
so like, I know that some of our commercial businesses do put up more signage during election periods. So I don't know if that's a concern for you guys or not. There are a few commercial
They have a right to
properties.
do it. I mean, well,
But if
I
we
understand.
adopt
I
this,
understand.
but if we adopt this, we would basically not be giving them, they would have to follow the other temporary sign regulations.
Yeah.
I thought Supreme Court said that we couldn't restrict political signage.
Right, and we're not though, right?
We're not.
Talking about signs just during a certain time period. Election time period, not necessarily political signs. So you've seen most of the signs that are
Yeah,
out now,
of course,
right?
yeah.
And there's so many on residential
Yes.
lots. So right now, if that was in place, and then you could also put up other signs like, my child's at Riverside or whatever,
yeah.
all
Yeah.
those other signs.
Yes.
So, but during the election period, there's going to be a limit. No, not limited, right?
Right.
For a certain period of time
Yeah.
with respect to just during elections.
So, they're allowed
So it's
to have
almost
sign-
like a lot.
Yeah, so the sign doesn't say all.
Well, that, but also, 'cause, it's almost like saying, listen, we know you're probably going to have more signs during this time period.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it. But yes, there's definitely a fine line here.
Right, right, it's very
It's
fine.
tough because we really don't want to ever be, told, hey, listen, you guys are regulating on content, right?
Mhm.
Which is not going to work. But we are allowed to limit, time, place, and manner kind of things without really necessarily looking at the content. Again, this is just the number of signs during this period of
Understood.
time.
I get it.
I know. Okay.
That's a
I know, it's
fine
tough.
line, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the alternative is to not give an additional allowance and just stick with, these are the maximum number and how many and location, and not give additional allowance for any time of the year.
Okay.
So, if, what we.
I just think that I'll go back to my original question and my concern.
The size.
The size, I don't think that's
So,
that's my
yeah.
personal opinion.
But like in a residential district, in a neighborhood, what we were
Sure, I get what you're
recommending for a
saying.
temporary sign, no sign should be larger than 8 square feet in a residential district. No temporary sign should be larger than 8 square feet. Shouldn't be up for more than 45 days.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because somebody lives in a development, like I don't live in a development, right?
Yeah.
I live Road, so I could throw a 4x8 sign in my field and know what,
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to write it, like if you
Well,
have an
you could
excess
say-
amount of frontage, can you have a larger sign?
Well,
I
either
don't.
that or do it by district,
you know,
the 2 acre and up.
Yeah.
Our 4. If you
Oh,
qualified the residential for the 2 acre and up for that size, because it's obviously a larger rural lot.
I know. I don't think you need to get.
or a lot that has, over a certain
So
amount
he's
of
allowed on
frontage.
That's exactly right. So you know what? It's
Yeah, right, that's not right.
But is it, if it's common that
No, just
they're
the size.
using larger than
I know.
2x4, then that is something we definitely should consider, because what I don't want is someone putting up the 8x4 and then calling me
right.
going,
Yep.
hey, that sign's bigger than what you guys allow, and then now I'm having to go tell somebody to take that sign
No,
down.
I understand. I get it.
So maybe
I
we
get
could,
it.
In fact, John, the September, well, if you,
If I'd have been here, is that what you're gonna say to me?
no, the political signs is eliminated. There's
Right.
not even defined in here, it's gone.
But you can't- Yeah, right. 'cause
Right.
of-
right.
Right.
We're trying
So
to eliminate categories of the types of
categories are
signs.
eliminated.
Yeah.
I have just absolutely used that multiple times in conversation.
Right.
I love learning stuff like that. I get it.
Do you guys want me to look at the sizes more closely? Because I was
Yeah,
gonna.
would you please,
Yeah,
would you
yeah,
please do
yeah.
some research on that?
I think so.
Well, and that was going to be not for tonight, but like I really wanted you guys to think about, because the number, even just during the regular times of the year, the number of temporary signs that would be acceptable on a residential lot. What I proposed, what I drafted was, you could have one or more temporary sign as long as no sign is larger than 8 square feet, and then the combined square footage of all the signs can't exceed 12 square feet.
So, and I guess I gotta go, that's in residential, correct?
Right.
Okay, because I know commercial.
See, that could be like 4 of the standard little yard signs that you see out now. Like, I don't think, driving around the township, generally people don't have a lot of temporary signs other than kind of now, right? And then you see them come and go, like when they have work done on the property or yards, there's various times here and there, but we don't have a lot of residential lots that use
Yeah.
temporary signs.
So we're getting rid of the And I thought you had something construction signs in here, or, God, I could have sworn I saw it during construction.
Yeah.
32
Yes.
square, yeah, right above,
Yeah.
32 square feet.
Yep. This, yeah.
Okay. So real estate, commercial real estate advertising on a 4x8 sign through duration. You do have occupancy right in here, right? I think you said that.
I'm
Shall
sorry.
be removed
Yes.
upon occupancy of the building or completion of construction.
Yep.
So if I'm a leasing agent, I want to put a 4x8 sign up, and I have a 32,000 square foot building, and I lease out 20,000 square foot, and I still have 12,000 square foot left, right? Do I get to keep my sign up until that's completely occupied? Yes.
Oh,
Right?
so the building is constructed, and I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, the building's constructed.
So the construction is done.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
But it's not fully
Then
Not
occupied.
fully occupied.
It's not fully occupied.
okay, you would have to follow,
It says it shall be removed upon occupancy of the building
completion of the construction.
or completion of construction.
Well, the way I look at that is, so say we build Longwood Plaza, they have the big sign up, hey, we're building Longwood Plaza, Ralph Victor Construction, we're awesome over here. They finish construction, they move in. They still have 3 empty spaces. They've occupied it. So that large, I feel, the way I look at that
That 4x8 sign.
4x8 sign would need to come down, and then if they want to put another sign up, they would have to,
It's gotta be 2 foot, it's gonna be 16 square feet, right? 4x4,
4 by
no larger than 16, yeah.
16.
16 square feet.
These are good questions. They are, yeah.
I'm trying
We
it.
didn't dig into all the minutia of the actual figures that I had really thrown out all that much last month.
So,
So
right-
these were things that I was anticipating that we were gonna need to do.
Right, and that's why
So,
we're having a
yeah.
session, right?
Yeah,
It's a work
yep.
session.
Yeah,
And I'll do my due diligence as well, and I'll go look up, I deal with a lot of commercial brokers.
yeah.
And I'll see,
Yep.
what their regs are.
Yeah. 2% on vacant. I mean, I would hate to do that, but there could be another we don't want a category, but could there
think we
be
have enough.
something where, on a lot that's being offered for sale or lease? Could there be a separate criteria for that?
I mean, you're almost there
Yeah.
with F, right? But you have it under construction,
Yeah.
and you're there with it with the occupancy part of it, and I
Okay.
think it's great. I think it's gonna be complete occupancy though, because he can put up leave his board up there, occupied, and leave unoccupied, and that's gonna draw attention to it. And if you're going down Crowell Road, I think it's what's the speed limit there? 45?
35,
30? Is it?
yeah.
It's 40 on girls and 35 on Crowell? Wow. Oh, I tell the sheriff's department they can park in my driveway anytime. So that's not, you're not gonna catch it. I mean, there's data that I can really, yeah, believe me. Just a food for thought on that one.
Heather, you want to continue? You had a couple of
Yeah. we
items
have-
you want to bring to our attention?
Yeah, just, oh. The, on the last page, 30.41, D, I just wanted to point out, because there was a little bit of discussion about, Rich, I think you brought this up,
I did.
removal of signs that have maybe offensive or threatening language or
Yes.
anything like that.
Yes.
We have something in here that talks about signs that are unsafe or in dangerous conditions, like the physical, condition of the sign itself. Like if it creates a hazard for safety, that we have a process to notify them and maybe potentially remove it. Brighty looked into some other communities' regulations to see if they did anything like that, but and I don't know if she wants to touch upon that, but I felt like what I read, some of the stuff that I saw was, again, based on the condition of the sign itself, but then also maybe too much, if it was about the message on the sign, it was potentially, I felt like too much discretion for the zoning inspector or for whoever to determine that it's offensive to someone. I know we kind of talked about that here at the board, like
Yep.
what's offensive to somebody might not be to somebody else. And it just didn't seem like that we should get into that.
Not at all. You see what's on the news nowadays, man, with all this going on with people finding things offensive, and it's getting out of hand, in my opinion.
Don't go down that hole.
Yeah, don't want to go down that hole.
I'm sorry, where did we speak to that in here?
I was just pointing out on the last page on 30.41,
That's what I meant.
D,
D. Oh,
the very first line, it's talking about unsafe or dangerous signs that constitute a hazard. We're not talking about the offensive, threatening, or anything like that,
We're
but
talking about the condition of the sign itself,
yeah,
the construction of the
yes,
sign.
yes, the construction of the sign itself.
okay, so the answer to my question, we can't regulate offensive language.
Well, I will tell you that some
Yeah.
communities do, but they
Yes.
really put the discretion at the zoning inspector or like the administrative officer to decide what is considered offensive, which I think is problematic.
I absolutely think it's
Yeah.
problematic. So
They do
It
it
would-
though, they do, and they put
we
out.
better have
notice.
something in, that they put their teeth onto in writing, in a law, in a resolution that they can lean on.
But what
Some
they're saying is
def-
they want to remove, they don't even want to go down that hole.
Right,
They don't even want to, writing, I'm not speaking for
No,
you, but the way it
you're
sounds to
correct.
me, the way I'm understanding you, is to say, let's not even address that.
correct. In other words, the
You
only
know-
reason we would be removing a sign is if it's, that the condition is, unsafe or
Okay.
dangerous.
Okay. So offensive language or anything of that sort, we're not going to address.
I think that's gonna be really tough.
I think, yeah.
I don't even
Why?
think the Supreme Court can do it.
Free speech?
I don't think they can define it well enough. And I certainly wouldn't want to put that in Heather's hands. I don't think that's fair. But I mean, if you want to maybe consider like the board of trustees having some, and like, nuisance can still be an issue, but again, proving nuisance is a thing. I don't know that you want to put it in your zoning regulations.
Oh, so the nuisance section in our, does it speak to that in the nuisance section? The noise nuisance section of our ordinance?
No, not noise nuisance, but just nuisance in
Nu-
general. Like,
Nuisance,
with
isn't that
respect-
spoken to there?
Not really.
Oh, it's not?
I don't know. It really talks more about unsafe or dangerous condition, not that can constitute a hazard to the safety of persons or property. Not necessarily, if you're looking at it, is it offensive to me, or is it offensive to, my next door neighbor? Can then, Heather then remove it? I personally don't think that, I don't even think the Supreme Court, again, can seriously define what offensive is
Okay.
adequately, that we should even consider including it in our regs.
Yeah.
Could, even generalizing that vulgarity, expressions of
Define it.
Right?
vulgarity.
Define it.
Right.
You can't.
No, I mean, there's a Supreme Court justice that said, I know it when I see it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that doesn't fly anymore, right? I mean, it's tough. It's really, I mean, I understand this is definitely the struggle. And I will tell you, other communities have sort of just kind of vaguely said something along the lines of offensive in nature.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Right, but again,
To have-
truly then, do we want to do that and then have Heather really be enforcing that is the question.
That's difficult. Look what they're trying to take books and stuff out of libraries, for God's sakes. And the community
So
center.
when a complaint is registered with the township, who is going to address it?
Yeah, I think we would have to, case by case, again, is it, I don't know.
And that's, okay.
Might-
It's children.
We all know we might
It's
not.
children I'm concerned.
No,
We
I
all are.
understand.
Yeah.
We are, but we also have that first one. Most important. I'm sorry.
You had other items, Heather? Looking at you.
That's kind of all I really updated in
Okay.
this version based on last month. But I know we also, we do need to talk further about the definition of, not tonight, but the definition of temporary sign. versus permanent sign, because we raised that at the last meeting. I'd like to really hone in on the allowances for temporary signs. Is it too much? Now the sizes, are they big enough?
Okay.
So we need to look at that more detailed.
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
So John and Ron, you here last month? Ron was here, sorry. The permanent sign, if you look at 30.6,
3.06?
30.6, page 30.6. So under, my question on 24, as Heather just pointed out, 30.6, is the definition of a permanent sign doesn't satisfy the definition of a temporary sign. And that's what Heather suggested you need to do a little bit more, right, suggesting some more definition to a permanent sign rather than saying it's not a temporary.
Sign. I would agree with that.
Okay.
That's
So
actually
that's-
writing that duration number. Okay, you're right.
Whereas a temporary sign on the next page is defined. Displayed only temporarily, without a definition of time. But within the other sections, it
Sections,
says 30 days,
yep,
blah, blah,
45
blah,
days.
45 days, blah, blah, yeah.
So duration, but definition of
Yeah.
temporary and permanent.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else, Heather, after that one?
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
A couple other things. I didn't bring this up, but, previously, but I did see in some communities, they regulate, within their sign section, and we kind of touched upon this a little bit, because we were defining flag and flag sign,
Yes,
but
yeah.
actual like flag poles and heights of flag poles, is that something, or the sizes of, like, in residential districts on commercial properties, right now in our, zoning resolution, we basically just say that they're allowed to encroach into the yards, the side yards, and we don't have any restrictions. No height restrictions, no size limitations or anything like that, but I know some communities do regulate that, and I've seen them in their sign codes, so I wasn't sure how the.
What do we have
board felt.
currently?
What's that?
What do we have currently? Nothing.
Nothing, other than,
I thought we had a
for-
size.
what's that?
I thought we had a size, because I was looking up.
Flag-
For
on
flagpoles,
the-
no, we have nothing. Yeah, so on your residential property, you could do whatever size, pole that you want, or
Oh, no,
based
I
on
wasn't
the
never
current.
going to do the size one in my field. Not obtuse, but I was, I want, but because it sets back from the road.
Yeah.
I could put it in the middle of my orchard, and I looked up, I could have sworn I thought that I saw that
No,
there was a
there's
size
no-
restriction.
No, there's no size restrictions.
Gotta
or
get
anything.
there.
It seems to me we
Something
should
to maybe look
consider,
at.
yeah,
We could
okay.
look at our
In
neighboring
districts, in
communities.
districts.
We
Yeah.
can see the neighboring townships too, to see if they
Yes.
have any regulations
Yes.
and look at what some of the other local
Yes.
communities have. Not to try to overregulate things, but
No,
have
especially
some
that.
kind of standards on that, maybe.
Something.
My neighbor across the
Seems-
street, Gordon, he yelled at me because I saw my flag up. He's like, "You gotta get your flag up." I know.
Oh.
But I wanted to put a good. I thought we did. I thought I saw that somewhere, but maybe not.
And then I just want to relook at the lighting that we kind of touch upon, and maybe this is not signage, but, well, I think it does, some of it gets into it, but like, we really don't, and I would have to do a lot of research on this, but like the LED lights and the neon lights and some of that, like, I don't think we adequately address that in our sign regulations, and maybe that's something that we should look at
Eat at Joe's.
a little bit more closely. I mean, we already say you can't have the blinking, flashing kind of lights, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we should,
But I don't know if there's some,
So you're saying like backlit light, backlit,
Backlit.
signs? They don't do neon signs. They make those anymore.
or like even neon lights, is that are those things that?
The neon lights we have, the gas don't even use. It's all LEDs.
Oh,
They
right.
got rid of that.
Or like okay.
I mean, the
Yeah.
old bars that still have them. That's about the only place you're gonna find them.
Oh,
they
okay.
don't even make that anymore.
Oh, yeah, okay. Just something that I just wanted to look at that closely, just to make sure we are
Yeah.
covered there.
yes,
Those are,
okay.
that might have just been my to-do list here, but that was that was
Very
it.
good. Thank you, Heather.
Yep.
I had this is minor. In the original, I'm not sure what,
From last month?
in the last month, right at the beginning, the definitions,
Oh, yeah,
Is this in my book or no?
for the definition of sign,
Just definitions, the opening paragraph.
yeah.
So in the last sentence of the opening paragraph, 30.02, definitions, architectural features as defined. So it was eliminated last month, but it's back in this month.
I know, I took out deleting all that because when I was reading this again and when we were gonna look at refining temporary sign versus permanent sign, the definition of sign is right in here. And I don't know why it's listed, and that was part of it. So I was like, wait a minute. So for the purposes of these sign regulations, a sign shall include, and then it goes on, and this is technically the definition of sign.
Yes.
So I thought, let's hold off on striking that until we come back
Okay.
maybe next month
Okay.
and really look at
Okay.
that entire definition of sign.
All right.
Should it be written this way versus the temporary sign versus the permanent sign? But good catch.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I didn't know if that was the right
If
location
anybody's
to
going
even
to,
put
you're
the
gonna
exception in. Because if that's the definition of sign, I don't know that we should have an exception right there with it.
Yeah.
I wasn't,
Right.
the wording is a little strange here, so
Right.
we're definitely gonna have to fix that.
Right. I think you discussed all the other things I had here brought up last month. So Frank, have anything?
No, I'm fine.
Anything to add, John?
No, I don't.
Ron, anything, questions for Heather or legal counsel?
Just to
Yeah.
summarize, I do, in case I'm not back, if my opinion matters.
Yes,
If I'm
please,
missing-
please.
So I do agree on the flagpole. Because if there is no regulation, right now, somebody could really put up, like what you see on 90 as you come up to
Yeah.
520,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Signage on 44, I sort of like how it's regulated now, because I think you would, is it 44, or are you gonna put signage on Auburn Road or Cryle Road? So, because 44, and then you got Cryle, and then Auburn, and then I think it'll get too confusing in that, is the frontages, or where would you put that sign in that area? And everything is visible from 44 or Cryle or Auburn Road, whatever road you're going down. I do think on 90, that's a different story, but there's not much there, right? You have Circa, and there's really nothing else west of that on both sides, and then going east, Hannon Electric is already identified. If something else goes in there, then maybe they would be able to identify that. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents
No,
in
thank
for
you.
that.
No.
Thank you, Ron. Good. In furthering this along, Heather, I don't know what the board's been. Is it possible to refine all the red at this point, or not?
Yeah, for the next
Is
meeting,
that
yeah.
is
I
that
can-
okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
To make it accept changes so you can actually read through it.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do that, yeah.
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 And then there's the ones that are outstanding, although outstanding, when I say outstanding, there are a
Yeah.
couple lagging questions here.
Yeah.
Signs.
But if you remove the strike out of it, you
But if
can read the red.
You can read the red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'll go through and
Okay.
I'll accept all the changes,
Okay.
and then I can send you, I can even do that with this version if you'd like, so you can review that.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
going to take some time to
Yeah.
go through it. It's almost like a single item for an agenda, really, but to
Yeah.
get through all this
Yeah,
for another work session.
Okay.
I anticipate that's what we're going to need
okay,
before we get to final.
yeah,
Not to make more work for you, Heather,
Oh.
but I just,
Yeah, no,
there's
yeah.
a lot to digest
Yeah.
here, I think.
so maybe hang on to this October version and
Yeah.
bring this
Yeah.
next month, and then I can accept all the changes and
Okay.
give that to you as well that matches it then. And then any of these other things that we wrote down that, can just be a side kind of, we won't integrate into here yet, like if it's research on the definitions or the flagpoles or any, I'm gonna come back maybe with some information about typical sign sizes, maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
yes.
We won't put those in here yet until
Okay.
we've kind of agreed to that.
Very good. Thank you, Heather. Thanks to the board for reviewing this again, because this is probably gonna take another work session
Oh, yeah.
yet, and then review, so appreciate your diligence in looking through this. I find this particular section very important. I just think it's awfully important.
I
So
do.
many, it's almost like, can we split it up somehow? Is it? But they're all related. The signs, it's all related. There's so much there when it comes to signage.
I couldn't agree more with you, Rich, and I
Yeah.
think it is also, I hate to use the word controversial because.
Yes, it is. Sure.
But it can be.
Sure.
And that's why we talk about that thin line, right?
Sure.
And who are we? Because it all goes back to what is free speech,
Yep. Yes.
And you're preventing me from doing
Yep.
it. So I concur, and I think it's very important.
Okay.
Old business.
Thanks for all the efforts there on that work session, colleagues, very well done. Number 2 on our old business is still there, indicating the agenda item for the completion of the sidewalk has been tabled until July 26th. To report on that, the township has initiated with the consultant comprehensive plan that's underway. And that's going to take probably until June or July of '26 to conclude, but their findings or plan might give us some direction here on where we might go with this sidewalk. And it might yield some direction for us, let alone what is now occurring, which we approved tonight, in the Capital District, although they're building the sidewalk there to the roundabout. Yeah. So anyway, that might be, not that I'm
You
concerned.
liked my joke. I thought it was pretty funny.
I missed it.
Yeah, no, you didn't. When I made my comment about are we going to put a duration on this.
Oh, you did. Yes, you did. Our next meeting is November the 4th, 2025. Hopefully, oh no, we understand Mr. Peterson won't be available then as well, so we might, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
might see Ron again.
So I'm back.
Likely.
Thank you.
And before I conclude our adjourn, I would ask that we probably read through this proposal the gentleman, Mr. Rhea, had provided to us.
Absolutely.
And permit Heather and Bridie to consider, review it, give us some thoughts as it relates to our current regulation. Again, sir, thank you for offering that.
I just have a
Yeah,
question.
please, Frank.
You put this together yourself, or you didn't have legal counsel or somebody? Because it looks like something we would have done ourselves.
My first job out of school was as an architect, and I wrote all the deed restrictions for Pine Ridge and Whalers Cove. But then I realized you can't make money as an architect, you gotta be an engineer. Switch professions.
No, I mean,
That's true.
technically, it looks like just something that came out of our zoning book.
I did a lot of research.
Nice job.
We're looking into it.
Yeah,
Well, like I said,
definitely.
Ron knows I've been complaining about this for many years.
And justifiably so. You shouldn't have to be in such an inconvenience.
I
Your
didn't
whole
know
life.
what you guys did, so until Mr. Peterson suggested it, I had no idea.
Very good, thank you. There being no further business by this board, our meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you. Great job.
Yeah.